Hi, what's up guys, it's Evan here, and in today's video I'll be going over my top 5 fastest puzzles to solve. So basically, I'm just going to go over 5 puzzles that I think, to me, I solve the quickest. So I'm going to start with number 5 and then move my way up to number 1. So yeah, I'm just going to organize my list really quick, and I think I have it all set up. So let's start with number 5. And I'm not including the 1x1, by the way. These are all like puzzles that require like some moves. So, number 5, I would put the 1x3x3, only because I think it takes the longest because you gotta just put it into, like, this actual square first. Like, you can actually shape-shift it into random objects, like, you can put pieces sticking out. So, like, I just think the only reason, like, it's so low on the list, even though it's not a big puzzle, is because, that it can shape-shift, so you gotta, like, get some time to think about, like, which directions you want to shape-shift it. And, like, once you get it into, like, this square here and, like, all the pieces are mixed up, just basically just move it around, and then all the pieces will eventually line up. Just solve the outside, and then basically you can just turn these outer pieces to solve the inside. So I just think this cube probably takes the most time out of the 5 I have here, just because of its shape-shifting, and also its, like, turnings. Like, you have to turn these pieces, and yeah. Alright, now let's move on to number 4. So number 4, I would have to say, would be the Pyraminx. And the reason I would say the Pyraminx is because, I solve at this, number 4 at this, like, and, yeah. And what I think takes this so long is that, like, there's, like, a few steps, like, I gotta quickly get into. Like, I gotta solve, like, I gotta solve all the centers, I gotta solve all the edges and tips around it, and then I just gotta, solve these edge pieces. There are a few steps to kind of just like solve it. Like, you gotta just like, if you come down just a couple pieces and they're not solved, you just kind of have to just kind of figure out like where to move each of the pieces. And this is kind of like one of my slower moving puzzles. I think I average around, like, I'd say 20 seconds on this puzzle. And I also just do want to address, like, you also tell the tips, so it can be a bit of time, so that kind of can waste a bit of time, and just kind of focus, and, like, there can be a few pauses, like, during the solve, and, because, like, you gotta figure out, like, where the pieces are, and there's, like, a lot more pieces on this puzzle compared to, like, these other puzzles I'm about to show you next, so that's why it's kind of, like, a little low on this. Now let's move on to number 3. So number 3, I would have to say, would be the 2x2. And the only reason for that is that because there's, like, not many pieces on it. There's only 8 pieces on this puzzle total. And there's not really many steps to, like, this puzzle. There's only around, like, 3 steps or so. It's the same with the Pyraminx, but the only reason it was so low on the list is it had more pieces and it just required more thinking because there were more pieces. Like, you gotta look longer for that piece. But on a 2x2, you really don't nearly have to look at all because, like, all the pieces are kind of next to each other. So, like, if you just have the puzzle file like this, you can just look at the pieces instantly. So, like, there's, like, almost no pausing in the 2x2, like, for noticing how quick, you can look for the pieces. I mean, it can take some time to look for the case you have for, solving the 2x2, but it really doesn't take any time at all, and I just really think it's just a quick moving puzzle. So, that's number 3. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2, oops, that's gone forever. The number 2, I would have to say, would be the Pyraminx Duo. And there's only reason for that is because number 1 will require, like, way less moves, and, like, number 2 is, it doesn't require, like, a lot of moves, and, like, just getting all the outer pieces and just solving the centers can waste, like, about, like, 4 moves. I mean, at least by a minimum, you can solve this within 10 moves. So, I mean, it does take a little bit of moves, and some of the pieces can be all, like, slow, so you have to kind of, like, think, like, where the pieces are. There's only, like, around 6 pieces on this puzzle. Actually, no, there's only 4. Including the center pieces, there's 8 pieces total, kind of, like, on the 2x2. And there's, like, also just a center inside, which you also got to figure out, like, which color it is. So there's, like, a tiny bit of thinking on this puzzle, but there's not really almost any, just like the 2x2. And it just requires way less moves. This is why it's higher on the list. So let's move on to number 1. Number 1, I would have to say, out of the quickest all of them, is the 1x2x2. And the only reason for that is because you can literally solve any solution within 3 moves or less. And it's just, like, no time at all. Like, you could solve this within a second. Even, like, people who don't even know how to solve a Rubik's Cube can solve this. Like, it's just that easy. Like there's like almost no like algorithms required. There's no you can literally solve this within 3 moves. Like it's the easiest puzzle like nearly out there. So that's why it's like the highest on the list. And I just think that this is a super easy puzzle for any of you. And if like you're even good at like solving like big cubes, kind of like the 2x2, and this you can probably solve this within like 1 second. Just like that. So there's no doubt. Like I don't even need to explain this last one. But hopefully you guys enjoyed my top 5 fastest Rubik's puzzles to solve. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down below for some other videos suggestions, and I'll catch you guys later. And I'll see you guys later. Alright, bye guys.